When we talk about ancient Greek myths and epic poetry, we usually focus on the grand adventures of heroes and the power of the gods. I grew up completely hooked on Greek mythology, but the story of Odysseus always hit differently. It wasn't just about monsters or divine tests. It was about everything a human being can carry: grief, loss, longing, and the stubborn refusal to give up. Homer's epic, the Odyssey, captures all of that, with a depth that still feels alive today. It follows Odysseus on his 10-year struggle to return home to Ithaca after the fall of Troy, and at its core, it's not really a war story. It's a story about missing home, surviving against impossible odds, and the very human push and pull between weakness and strength. Odysseus is celebrated as one of the great heroes of the Trojan War, the mastermind behind the wooden horse that ended the conflict. But the road home turned out to be far longer and harder than the war itself. Cursed by the sea god Poseidon after blinding the Cyclops, Polyphemus, Odysseus spent years drifting across treacherous seas. He was held captive by the nymph Calypso for 7 years. He faced creatures and forces that no mortal should have to face. The Odyssey plays out across the islands and open waters of the ancient Mediterranean, a world of myth and danger, where day and night both carry their own kind of threat. What makes this epic truly matter, though, is not the physical suffering. It's what Odysseus feels through all of it. He is not a flawless, untouchable hero. He mourns his lost companions. He wrestles with despair. He makes mistakes. He is deeply, unmistakably human. The Odyssey has been celebrated as one of the greatest works of ancient Greek literature for a reason. And thousands of years later, it still speaks to something real. Now, with Christopher Nolan's film adaptation on the horizon, there's fresh excitement around this story. Personally, I'm eager to see how the film reinterprets it for a modern audience. But I also wonder whether the quieter, more emotional layers of the original will survive the translation to the big screen. Understanding those layers before you watch the film will make the whole experience richer. Modern blockbusters tend to prioritize visual spectacle and momentum. Nolan is a director known for stunning craftsmanship, and his version will almost certainly bring Odysseus's physical ordeals to life in breathtaking ways. But compressing the Odyssey's vast, layered narrative into a single film means that a great deal will be simplified or left out. Adventures like Circe's enchantment, the Song of the Sirens, and the deadly passage between Scylla and Charybdis are tailor-made for stunning visuals. The danger is that in focusing on these set pieces, the film may gloss over what the original handles so carefully: the inner torment of Odysseus, the unwavering patience of his wife, Penelope, and the painful coming of age of his son Telemachus. The original Odyssey is not just Odysseus's story. While he fights to get home, the epic follows everything happening in Ithaca without him. Penelope, surrounded by arrogant suitors demanding she choose a new husband, holds them off through sheer cleverness. Her most famous trick is weaving a burial shroud by day and unraveling it in secret each night, stalling for time, refusing to give up on her husband. This is not just a clever plot device. It's a portrait of loyalty and intelligence under immense pressure. Meanwhile, Telemachus, who grew up without a father, reaches adulthood and begins searching for answers. His journey is a coming-of-age story in its own right. A young man trying to understand who he is and reclaim what his family has lost. A modern action film may reduce these two to supporting characters, but in the original, they are just as essential as Odysseus himself. The Odyssey also takes us inside Odysseus's head in ways that visual spectacle alone cannot replicate. After blinding the Cyclops, Odysseus shouts his own name in triumph. A moment of pride that brings Poseidon's wrath down on him. It's the kind of very human flaw that defines him. He is brilliant, but he is also vain and impulsive. Later, on Calypso's island, he is offered immortality and eternal youth. He turns it down. He chooses to go home as a mortal, to age and die, because he would rather live a full human life with his family than exist forever in a kind of gilded isolation. That choice says everything about who he is. And then there is the visit to the Underworld, one of the most haunting passages in all of mythology. Odysseus travels to the realm of the dead to seek the prophecy of the blind seer Tiresias, and while he is there, he comes face to face with the shade of his own mother, who died while he was away. He did not even know she was gone. That grief, that specific kind of helplessness, is something no sea monster or divine curse could match. It is the emotional core of the entire journey. Whether Nolan's film can carry that kind of weight is an open question. The visual language of blockbuster cinema is brilliant at conveying action and awe, but translating the quiet anguish of a man realizing he has been gone too long is a different challenge entirely. I hope the film finds a way to honor it, but whether it does or not, going in with a sense of what the original is really about will give you something the general audience won't have. You'll be watching for the gaps, noticing what was kept, and what was changed, and feeling the full weight of a story that has endured for thousands of years. For reasons that go far deeper than adventure, the Odyssey is ultimately about something simple and universal. It's about wanting to go home. It's about the people waiting for you, and the cost of being apart. It's about how a person survives when everything keeps going wrong, not by being fearless, but by refusing to stop. Odysseus is not the strongest warrior in Greek mythology. He is the one who keeps going anyway. That is why his story still resonates. And that is exactly what makes it worth understanding. Before the lights in the theater go down,